Terrific movie. Back with me to discuss it is Miguel Rodriguez, the TCM fan who picked The Thing from Another World for us today. Miguel, what is it about this movie that still resonates today, 63 years later?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with it's been retold a couple of times. I mentioned earlier that it was based on a short story called Who Goes There? And of course, it was remade in the 80s by John Carpenter. And one of the interesting things about if one were to look at all those versions is how the storytelling has evolved with the time. The original story is rather grim, and they gave it a much more upbeat feel in this film. But then when you get to the 80s remake, it's a completely different situation.
Miguel, obviously you see movies today, no doubt many weekends, I'm sure you're in the theaters, but what do you love about classic films? What about classic Hollywood resonates with you?
Well, I think a big part of it is I'm fascinated with storytelling, and classic literature is one of my majors. And I think with classic films, and looking at a survey of films over the past few decades, you can see a reflection of ourselves and our culture and the mores of the time and compare it to how it is today. And you can see how people dressed, you can see how people spoke, and not necessarily how they really spoke, but maybe how they wanted to be seen as, as particularly in some of the golden age of Hollywood films, we wanted to, a lot of the, I guess, ideals were what were on the screen, and it's really fascinating to me to see that. But yeah, all of these, I think the storytelling aspect.
Yeah, I give that answer a lot when reporters ask me, because storytelling has changed so dramatically, and there are great storytellers now, but now we're much more likely in Hollywood to get taken with the things that we can do and show on screen.
Yes. Exactly. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Right?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. You're leading nicely into my final question. If you were ever to make films yourself, is there a director sort of who you'd like to emulate or whose work you admire more than others?
I'm going to go with a double here just because they go together, and that's the Archers, Powell and Pressburger. I think in terms of visual style and storytelling chops, it doesn't really get much better than that.
I love working for this network because you just don't walk around America and ask that question to people and get Powell and Pressburger as an answer, but you do on TCM. Hey,
Miguel,
I'm
right.
Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. It was great.
Thanks. It's been a blast.
Coming right up, one more afternoon film and one more TCM fan making the selection. It's one of the great buddy westerns of all time, starring one of the best screen teams, Paul Newman and Robert Redford.
Today on Turner Classic Movies, raindrops keep falling on Paul Newman and Robert Redford as Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Then Jean Marais has a monstrous exterior in Beauty and the Beast. And Sabu strays from his pack in The Jungle Book.
The city is filled with sordid